Welcome. I'm really glad that you guys could join us today. Today, we're going to be meeting Chef Regina Mitchell. She'll be talking about living with low vision and successfully navigating and cooking in the kitchen. And she's actually going to make a recipe today for you guys, and you're going to get to see us eat it and make your mouths water so that you yourselves will want to make this recipe. So thank you again for joining. Some of the kitchen tools she'll be using today, hers might look slightly different, but I want to talk about low vision cooking tools. And I've got a few up on the screen just as some examples: a large print timer, a measuring cup that actually outside is tactile and it has some bright colors, and then large print measuring spoons and cups. And then I don't know if she'll be showing the knife guards today. I got to come over the weekend and she showed me some really cool knife guards. So some of these things, whether you have low vision or you don't have low vision, they're just great utensils and safety things for the kitchen. So you see those down at the bottom. You actually would wear those. So when you're cutting, you don't cut your fingers. And then some high contrast mixing bowls. Maybe that's easier for you to see in that high contrast. Or maybe you know that you put the flour always in the red bowl, or you just have a system down that works for you. She's going to talk about her system in just a moment. I also have a few more low vision cooking utensils that I've got up here. Regina showed me something the other day I'd never seen before, and it's actually gloves for getting into the oven, but they're connected together, and she'll talk about why that is. And then also guards for getting things out of the oven. So you can see the red guards here for the oven racks. Again, something that I want to invest in because I've got some scars from burning myself. So you'll see her use hers will look a little different, but I wanted to give you some really good examples. Actually, here is Chef Regina's favorite kitchen tool. She sent this to me, and she'll be talking about all of these things on this list today. Again, you guys are going to get the PowerPoint, and so you'll have all of these. And of course, if you have questions at the end, you can reach out to myself, Catherine, or Chef Regina as well. Well, you guys, I want to introduce you to Regina. I was fortunate enough, I heard Regina on a podcast, a couple months ago, and I thought, goodness, I want to make sure that I have an opportunity to meet her someday, find out she lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. What a coincidence that is. It's very rare that I have this opportunity to get to do something live with an individual. Usually they're at their home and we're separate. So it's really unique to be here. So Regina's got a lot of stories to tell today, but also a lot of tips in the kitchen. So take it away. You're the star, girl. You go.
Okay. Well, thank you. And thank you for coming to my house. And not only coming into my house, but coming all the way into my kitchen. So thank you. My husband and I, we welcome you, Stan, and Chef Regina. We welcome you to our kitchen. Thank you so much. So today I thought, because it's such a beautiful spring day, that we would do something yummy and bright and brilliant, which is lemons. And we're going to do a luscious lemon cake with a zesty lemony drizzle. But before we do that, so just hold on a second. But before we do that, I just want to show you just a few of some of the things that helps me to navigate the kitchen. Because when I started losing my vision, I didn't come into my kitchen. It wasn't a friend. It seemed daunting to me. But then eventually I got enough courage and I got back into the arena. And so here I am. But in order for me to be successful, because I am a classically trained chef, in order for me to be successful as a classically trained chef that happened to be blind, I had to kind of pack my toolbox to make me feel more confident in the kitchen. So let me just take you through some of the things that I find to be comfortable for me in the kitchen. And I have a little tray over here. Voila. This is my little mise en place tray. But some of the things that help me, especially for my being very extremely low vision, I have some cut resistant gloves. And you just put it on, wear it as a glove, and it can help guard against cutting. So you just put it on like this. And when you're holding a product, even if it's an onion or garlic or tomato and you just kind of feel like you were going to nick yourself, well, it won't. Even it's really great at grating cheese. I mean, how many of us have grated cheese and have that last little piece of cheese left? Well, this will come in place for that. Another thing that I have, which is what Kimberly was talking about, is a finger guard. And you literally put it on like a ring and you put it onto your cutting board with your product, say a lemon, and to cut or to find a guide, you will place your knife against this finger guard. So it actually comes against the finger guard and it keeps your fingers safe, your knuckles, your wrists, everything's safe. So I always say you want to start with 10 and you want to end with 10. But not only do you want to start with 10 and end with 10, you want to guard your knuckles, or even sometimes the side of your wrist can be scraped as well. So this is a really great tool. This is called a finger guard. Another thing that I use in the kitchen sometimes, rather than using my 8-inch chef's knife, is to cut things. Sometimes you may not feel that you're ready to cut, like use a knife. I use what's called a microplane. And a microplane has little knives that point upward. And they're really small, that's why it's called micro. And then the blades go upward. So like for today, I'm using a lemon and I want the zest of a lemon. So what I want to do is I'm going to point the microplane down. It is a very long tool. It's probably about 12 inches long or so, maybe a little more. There's a big grip. Well, mine happened to be red, and it says microplane on the grip. It's a rubber grip. The long blade-ish is maybe about 8 or 9 inches, and all the blades point upward, and this is the stainless steel. So what I want to do is I want to point it down onto my cutting board at an angle, and I want to hold my lemon and drag my lemon down. As the blades go up, my lemon goes down, and that's my my results would be lemon zest. Okay? So anytime it calls for a lemon zest, then I can go down and get my lemon zest. Okay, thank you. I'll just move that over. Thank you. Another thing that I use in the kitchen.
We're just trying to get good photography here.
Thank you. Another thing that I use in the kitchen, here,
okay.
I'll just pick it up and just put it.
You want me to hold it?
Yeah. Is lots and lots of pastry spatulas. I have several spatulas. You can use this in baking as well as in cooking. I have several colors because I want my lighter colors to be for my desserts. So I don't want to have this. This is red, so, and it's thicker, and this is like for my sauces or things I'm doing that's savory. So, and this is very heavy. So when you're purchasing spatulas, you want to get several, because when I am doing a meringue, or like today we're doing cake, I don't want to have a taste of vermouth or soy sauce in my batter. So I use several different colors when you're doing, you're having spatulas. One other thing that Kim had talked about was several colors of measuring spoons and cups. I have several different colors. Also, I have the ones that are raised with the fractions that are raised, and they're large print. These happen to be different colors. That way I can know my weights. I know that red is an 1/8. I know that orange is a 1/3. So it just kind of gives me some kind of an indication without using my residual vision. I can just go in and grab something that looks like orange or red, and then I can measure. I also have ones that are tactile with braille on it as well. Another thing that I have is a timer that is has braille on the outside indicating the numbers, as well as large print, and it actually is inverted. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it. I'll take this and I'll take my microplane. Okay, got it. All right. Okay. Well, I'll show you around my kitchen just to kind of show you what I have done to make things a lot better for me in the kitchen, more accessible. And even though I have made my kitchen more accessible for me, well, guess what? It's even much more accessible for my husband because everything is in its place. That's one of the things that I have learned is to be very organized with low vision. And really, monthly, my vision is declining. So I am having to depend less and less on my vision and more on my braille skills, my adaptive skills, and my organizational skills that I put into place right now. So something that I have done, which has really helped me in the kitchen, was to organize my drawer, my spice drawer, because I do have a little bit of vision. I went through my spice drawer and organized all of my spices in alphabetical order. That way, when I'm reaching for, say, my chipotle seasoning, it's written large in a Sharpie so that I can see it. But sometimes when I get up in the morning, I don't know what I'm going to see. Sometimes it's very blurry and I have no vision. So I can pretty much feel, because it's in alphabetical order and I know my drawer, I can feel it. Not only that, but your nose knows. So if I goof up and I pull Chipotle as opposed to adobo, my nose is going to tell me. I know a big difference between Chipotle and adobo. First of all, Chipotle is smoky jalapenos and has a very, very earthy fragrance. So I have organized my drawers so that it can be very accessible to me. Another thing that I've done is I've organized my kitchen cupboards. So I went and bought bins. Actually, they're for children, like organization for their toys. And I thought, I think I can use this. So what I did is I actually pulled everything out of my cupboards. And I got these cute bins. And that way, when I'm baking, I can just pull this drawer out, this bin out, and this has all of my baking supplies in it. So this has all of my baking. That way I'm not having to look in my cupboard for baking supplies. And then this one over here, I can pull this out and it has all of my savory ingredients like pepper and smoke and whatever, whatever I want to put in there. Like black pepper, and it has, what is this? Mesquite bourbon spice. That's nice. So this has all my savory, and this has all my baking. And then all the way up, I have mixed seasonings, and then just however I wanted to organize it. So that just makes it very easy for me and also very easy for the other people that are living in the home. And I'm just going to put this back, and it just slides right back in, right? So also the reason why I didn't want to come back into my kitchen, because what we're all afraid of, heat, being burned, being cut. So learning from the Blind Connect, when I was a student there, they taught me lots of skills. One skill as a classically trained chef that you don't even think about, you just do, was when you open the oven, I'm always opening the oven and I stand right in front of it. And the blast of air is just incredible, the heat. And so what I was taught was to stand to the side and open up the oven. So I stand to the side, open the oven, and then, okay, now I have to put something in the oven. Well, I was always taught as a chef just to put something in the oven. Well, and then when you take it out, you use your gloves. Well, not so, because we can get burned by putting things in the oven as well. So what I went and got was, this is called a double oven mitt. So what it helps me is that it helps not only for my arm, but also for my chest area as well. And sometimes we can wear a necklace, and the warmth of the oven can even sometimes burn us with the necklace. So with this, I can just put this on, open up my oven, and then take something out of the oven like this. And they're very flexible, so I can just pull them right out. The other thing that I use is I found were the oven guards. It's a silicone guard that comes in a pack of, I think, two or four, depending on how many racks you have. And you just simply open them up and just pop them right onto your oven rack. And so that's what I have on the middle rack. Since you use your middle rack a lot more, I just put it right square in the middle of my oven rack. And it's red, you can get different colors, orange, black, red, but I just got red because it's bright and I could see it. So it's not going to, if you touch it, it's not like you're not going to get burned. The degree of the burn is going to be a whole lot less than it would be if you were to touch the hot rack. Okay, I'm going to close the oven now, and I'm going to put my gloves back onto my handle. All right, so I'm back over to my area, and I think I'm going to start the lemon cake. Okay, so thank you for traveling through my kitchen. I do hope that some of the aids that I have shared with you, that you will be able to incorporate into your kitchen as well. So you can find any of these things, of course, on Amazon, or go to Target, Walmart. Some of them are there. But like the specialty things, you would have to find them online. So let's get started. I'm going to get going with the luscious lemon cake. So there are a few things about baking that, as low vision and blind individuals, that we really have to take care of, because baking, we all know, is a science. And if you if you don't want to have a pancake for if you don't want a pancake and you want a cake, you're gonna really have to follow directions, like really. And following directions meaning the proper way of measuring. So first of all, the ingredient list is a basic lemon cake. We have flour, butter, sugar, but because we're going to add lemon to it, lemon is an acid. And because we have an acid, there are certain things that scientifically is going to have to balance out the acid so that we don't have a pancake, okay? So because we're adding an acid, we have to add a little bit more acid to it, which means we're going to have sour cream and just a little bit more lemon juice, all right? So that's a part of the cake mix is sour cream. It doesn't always call for it in a recipe, but sometimes if you want to balance out flavors, it will have you to add sour cream to it. Also, we're going to measure flour. And what I want to show you is how to measure your flour. And my measurements here. Okay, measuring flour, a lot of times we just want to scoop, like take our measuring cup and scoop into the flour. We don't want to do that when we're baking. We want to take a spoon, and we want to spoon and level. So I'm just gonna, this recipe calls for 1 3/4 1 3/4 cups of flour. So I am just taking my blue measuring cup and just putting it inside of my container of flour. And I'm scooping with a spoon and putting flour into my cup. And I'm going to measure it. And then I'm taking my finger to see, to touch, because the difference of touch of flour is, of course, we know is a lot different than, say, sugar. Flour, I find to be cool, is cool to the touch. I'm getting out a knife, excuse me for the noise. I'm getting out the knife and I'm just gonna tap a little bit on my measuring cup, and then I'm going to level. So I'm taking the back of a knife and I'm dragging it on the top of the measuring cup to level. So you want to scoop and level. And I have right here in my bowl, I already have my tablespoon or teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm going to now add the flour into a little sifter. And again, I'm going to level. I have a 3/4 cup. And I'm going to do the same. So I left this, I did some mise en place. And what is mise en place? That means having everything ready in its place. I do have a lot of things ready to go, but I wanted to show you scoop and level method of baking. So I didn't want to do that ahead of time. Now with sugar, it's different. Just scoop and level. And the reason we do a scoop and level is to aerate our flour, okay? Because flour has been sitting, it's been sitting in the store, and then it sits on our cupboard, and it becomes flat. So we're just waking it up. It's called aeration. We're aerating the flour. So I already have the baking powder, and then I also have the flour, and now I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. And I have a salt mill, and I'm just doing about 3 turns of salt and putting that in there. It's just a teaspoon of salt. And now I'm just going to aerate it even more. So I have it in the sifter. If you don't have a sifter, don't worry about it. Or a little strainer. You can use a whisk. We'll aerate it as well. And all we're doing is waking it up, and we're just sifting it. Okay, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And we're just aerating it. Okay, now at the very top, I have just a little bit of my salt, and I'm just gonna pour my salt back in. All right, now I'm all done with that. Okay, so my flour is ready to go. That's off to the side. And the next thing I had to get ready was sugar and lemon zest. So I already have the sugar in a bowl, and I already have the lemon zest in a bowl. So let me show you how I got my lemon zest. Here is my, so anytime a recipe calls for lemon zest and lemon juice, you want to zest first. I've done that many times. And then I think, oh, wait, what did I just do? Now I have to zest this little piece of a lemon. So always zest your lemon first. But before you zest your lemon, you want to wash. So I have an additional condition that's called neutropenia. And neutropenia means that I am susceptible to almost any kind of germ that's out there. So when I go grocery shopping and I bring back all of my groceries, they get washed off first before they even get into my cupboards or into my refrigerator. I was doing this way before the pandemic, so I was way ahead of you guys. So what I did is I washed off all my lemons, and now what I want to do is zest it. So again, with my handy dandy little microplane zester, I want to, remember, angle it like a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to take our washed and dried lemon. Oh, also to get more lemon out of this, you can do it lots of ways. You can put it in the microwave, about 5 seconds to kind of wake it up. Or you can just take it and roll it with your hand. And that way, the juice just kind of pulls away from the rind, and it's just all like having a party. So here we go. So now it's a lot softer than it was just 10 seconds ago. All right, so now I'm going to zest it, and you're just going to go down. Actually, I'm going to do it over my sugar. That way, I get the essence. The essence is the oils on the outside of your lemon. That's why you want to wash your lemons. Okay, so every time I zest down, there are fine oils that just burst. So I want all those oils into my cake. I don't want them out. Okay, so I'm just gonna zest, and it calls for 1.5 tablespoons. I have a little bit more in here, but that's okay. And then you just knock it on there to release the backside of the zest that's hanging on the back of the zester. All right, so that's done. And now I'm gonna take my sugar and my lemon zest, and with my fingers, I just want to rub it together. This way I have some beautiful like lemon sugar. Sort of like what I have back here. I make all types of different sugars. And so I'm making pretty much like lemon sugar. And it's just combining, and that's ready. Okay, so that's set. So now you have your flour, your lemon sugar, and I have my eggs. It calls for 5 eggs. You might think, wow, that's a lot of eggs. Yeah, it is. What does eggs do? Why do we have so many eggs, Regina? Well, eggs provide structure. So a lot of times, if we're not using enough eggs, we have like pancake. It also is a protein, so it gives us fat and also gives us color, right? So what I've done is it calls for 5 beaten eggs. So I have beaten 4 eggs, but I want to show you the proper way of cracking an egg. All right, so we do not crack, no, don't do this, okay? Don't crack your egg on the side of the bowl that you're gonna be using, because the shards, the little shells, can fall into your bowl. So if you're not doing this, good for you. All you wanna do is just crack it on the surface, put it in your hand and open it and put it right in. And if you put it in your hands a little bit, because you're gonna have a little bit of egg on your fingers, the egg shell will cling to your finger rather than into your bowl. Okay, I also always have a damp towel every time I'm working so that I can just rinse my hands. Okay, so now I have that added egg to my beaten eggs, and I'm just going to beat. The reason why it calls for a lightly beaten eggs is because we have fat, which is the butter, and we're going to be introducing more fat. And sometimes if it's not beaten, your batter will have to overwork. And that's why we develop gluten, and it gets to have a tough texture. All right, so now I have everything ready. Voila, just like that. Okay, I have everything ready. Okay, so I have a mixer here. It's a KitchenAid mixer. It has a stainless steel bowl and a wire attachment. So this is a standing mixer. If you don't have a standing mixer, that's okay. You can use a hand mixer. But oh gosh, I don't know if you could do this with your hands. Just go buy a little cheapy hand mixer, would be great. Okay, so first we're going to add our butter. And the butter needs to be at room temperature. I think a lot of times we don't know what room temperature butter is. Sometimes we think, oh, let me just put it in the microwave and get it all room temperature-ish. Well, guess what? Your microwave will never, ever get it to room temperature. Why? Because you're gonna have hot spots in your butter, meaning you're gonna have some, I'm wiping down my cutting board, meaning you're gonna have some spots that are melted and some spots that aren't. So just keep it on the kitchen counter for about an hour. It'll come to room temperature. I'm gonna lower it and I'm going to turn it on. Let me lock it first. And now I'm going to turn it on. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just mixing it together. Just the butter, the butter itself to come to more of a creamy texture. And now I'm going to add my sugar. Oh, that's my butter. My flour. And add my sugar, a little bit at a time. And that's all incorporated. And put this to the side. And I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to get it going so that what it's doing right now, sorry for the noise, it is holding on to my butter. So I'm trying to get the butter away, the whisk away from my butter, kind of holding my butter prisoner. Okay, there it goes. It's good now. All right. So now I want to add my eggs in 3 separate stages. That's 1. That's 2. And then 3. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm introducing another fat. Now I'm going to turn it off, and with my spatula, I'm going to wipe down the sides of my bowl. All right, and it's nice and thick. And I'm almost done here. Okay, and now I'm going to introduce another element to the party. So it's going to seem like it's curdled. What is curdled? It means it feels like it's going to separate when you touch it. It doesn't feel like it's coming together, but it will. Okay, if it feels gloppy, that's good. This is when gloppy is good. Okay, gloppy is good. Okay. Okay, next we have another element to add to the party, and that is our sour cream. So what I did is earlier I added some sour cream and lemon, just a 1/4 cup of sour cream, and mix it together. And I'm going to add some more fat and a little bit of tart, because sour cream provides tart. So I'm going to add that to the mix. We just half, okay? Not a lot, just half. Yeah, okay. Now I am mixing. That's it. Now we're going to add the rest. And then we're going to add the flour. Flour I'm going to add in 3 increments, but on very low speed. Okay, so I'm going to add 1. And then I'm going to turn it down and add again. And then that's it. And the rest. All right. Now let that go. I think that's it. I think I have all my ingredients in. Now I'm going to turn it off and unlock and lift it. And I'm going to take my spatula and mix everything, get everything out of my mixer. Okay. And that's it. So this is going to be a thick batter. And now I'm going to take it out and put it in my prepared pan. My prepared pan is what? It is, I have some parchment paper here, but if you don't have parchment paper, you can just spray and flour. So I'm just going to spray that on the side. And now I'm going to put it inside. Okay, and that's it. That's my batter. Beautiful, zesty, lemon, luscious batter. Okay, that's that. And I'm going to spread it and tap it and put it in the oven. All right.
Excellent. Looks delicious. I can't wait to have it. So I just want to say one more thing before we go over, and I'm going to do an interview so you get to learn a lot more about Regina, is she is brand new to some of the, this is maybe low-end technology, but some of the assistive technology computer-wise. And I was asking her when I met her, how are you looking at your recipes? How are you doing? She's like, well, I'm writing them large, or I'm trying to do this and strain my eyes. And I was able to introduce a few pieces of technology to her that seem to make a difference. We'll move those over to here for just a second and let her show some of the new things that she's learned.
Yes.
So this particular product is called The Voice, and we're not here to do a product demonstration. Some of you that joined us before have seen this before, but she's just going to hit, because she's already done the OCR by hitting the orange button. She's just going to hit the button above and it'll start playing.
Ingredients: cake, 2 sticks butter, softened but still cool 1/4 cups all, purpose flour 1/2 teaspoon, baking powder 1.
So when I showed this to her, she goes, oh my goodness, this is great. I teach people that have no vision or very low vision, and how great that I'm not trying to strain, and we could pause and read it back, and I don't have to read the ingredients. So it made all the difference. So this is one option. And then another option that she liked, we showed her about 6, and this is one of her favorites.
Speed 95.
Oh yes, this is my favorite.
This was her favorite option, and this is called the Tab. And the reason that she really liked this is because not only could she do everything, she could open her recipes. She talked about some family recipes. She could save recipes, but she could also scan it in, do OCR. She loved the pinch and zoom and all the other features. So she said, this is the winner. But she really did like the other one as well, for someone, again, introducing it for someone with very low vision or no vision at all. So these are just some new tools for her to use in the kitchen, and seems like it's going to make things a lot easier for her. We're going to move to the other room, and so I'm going to stop live. So Regina, everybody got an opportunity to see you in the kitchen, which is great. Kind of just tell us about your journey. How did you start? How did you have a desire to do culinary, first of all, and how did all this begin?
Well, okay. First of all, my mother, she's amazing. She's loving, nurturing, and she lost one of the twins. And because of that, I started cooking. And then I realized I really like this. And so I started doing it more and more and more.
Wow.
Then eventually we got married years later, of course. And we were living in northern BC, and I decided to go to culinary school.
Okay. So where did you go to school?
I went to Seattle Central.
Okay.
So it was 3 hours away.
Wow.
By the commute, but we ended up getting a little place in Seattle. And I went to school, culinary school, and I really enjoyed it. And I did really, really well, which allowed me to apply for the British Fellowship.
Okay.
And then after I graduated, I traveled for 18 months all over Europe, cooking and living and working.
Wow. Well, it's amazing. We saw how it's your passion. You can tell. I mean, you put love into everything that you cook. And so to share a few stories. I've heard you kind of got to cook alongside some famous chefs along the way.
Yes, I did.
Tell a little bit about that.
When I came back from training, I also received a scholarship to go to the La Varenne cooking school at the Greenbrier in West Virginia.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful hotel. And there I cook with Anne Willen as well as Julia Child.
Wow.
Yes. Then from there, I also stopped in and worked in Chef Emeril Lagasse's kitchen. When I got settled in Seattle, I worked with amazing chefs, Chef Eric Leonard, as well as Jerry Tronfeld, Casper. Oh my God, just so many amazing chefs that taught me and mentored me along the way. So it was just an amazing journey, just
Wow.
so amazing journey.
So what brought you to Las Vegas?
Well, MGM Grand was hiring. They was hiring for people that were in the service industry, but more that had elite guests.
Sure.
So I applied, and through a huge screening process, I was one of the 14 that was selected to be a butler for the Skylofts.
Wow.
And it was a training that that training, hospitality training, really changed both of our lives.
Sure.
Because not only are you cooking, but now you're learning the graciousness of service.
Sure.
Especially to the clientele that we had. I've had, I don't know, you could probably say their names, and I have probably worked with them in their space.
Right.
So as a butler, it is a personalized service.
Sure.
So you're in their space, you're ironing, you're unpacking, you're cooking, you're doing everything in their space.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful experience.
How incredible. So you moved here for that, and then after you got here, is that when you got diagnosed with your visual condition?
Yes, actually working at Skylofts and then transitioning to ARIA at City Center is when I became, I started getting sick, and I really didn't understand why. So we went to the doctor, and that's when they diagnosed me with lupus. Then a couple years later, I started getting eye pain. And then shortly within that week, the doctors here in Las Vegas didn't really know what was going on with me. And one of them remembered the Jewel Stein Eye Research Institute at UCLA. And then that's when they referred me there. Dr. Levinson is the one that diagnosed me with bilateral pancreatitis, coupled with sarcoid. Yeah, so it's a very rare eye disease, which I don't know what I'm going to see when I get up in the morning, or sometimes during the evening or afternoon. It's very shadowy, no depth perception or peripheral vision.
You said it's kind of like looking through a screen.
Yeah, several screens where I have to kind of peer a lot.
Right.
So it's very taxing on my body. Right. You know, what I've learned is when one of your body parts is hurting, the rest of your body hurts and it struggles. So it causes a lot of struggle for my body. But learning blindness skills kind of took that pressure off of my eyes. And now I'm able to use my other sensories to help me to navigate my world.
Wow. So lots happened, lots of going to different places. It was a process. This didn't happen in a week. It sounds like it was possibly several years. That all of this
it was.
Okay. And then what did you think when you kind of got the realization, this is happening, it's real, I'm not imagining this. Did you think, wow, I can't be a chef? Did you think, how am I going to be a chef? What did you do?
Well, not being able to see, and you know, I had vision, so you just think like everybody else thinks,
right? Like
my life is over, right? But I wasn't that kind of person.
Right. We can tell.
I just thought, okay, and things happen so fast that it was, and then my husband is so good to me that often I forgot that I couldn't see.
Right.
So I was kind of living between two worlds.
Sure.
And I never really felt that I was missing anything.
Right.
I don't know if it makes sense, but it seemed like he had the eyes and I had the body. So I wasn't lacking.
Right.
And then I had such great help and resources, and I was attending UNLV and they provided a lot of resources there on campus. So I really never felt like I was struggling. So for a couple of times navigating the campus is when I felt like this is bigger than me.
Right.
I need help. And then that's when I went in, and that's when I was introduced to Blind Connect. And I got training there just to be able to walk with a cane or to navigate my world. But it's very difficult. And just because I'm up and I'm about and I'm doing well doesn't mean I don't struggle.
Sure.
Because I still have those moments when I just think, darn it,
Yeah.
I want my life back. But then I think, back to what though? Right? Because my world is so rich now. And I don't think I would want to do it the way I was doing it before. It's so much richer right now.
Well, and the thing about you that just stands out in the little short time I've known you is you just love what you do, but you love helping other people, because now you've met a whole new group of people you told me you didn't know existed, that were afraid to be in the kitchen, that, gosh, it's my husband's birthday. I wish I could do this, but I can't see, I can't do anything, or I can't do anything in the kitchen because I don't have all these wonderful things in place. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to teach me. So the first thing you told me is people need to reach out for help. And that was one of the things you taught me. And you said, you just light up when you tell me, I'm teaching people now that have low vision. I'm teaching cooking classes online, and these people need me. The other people, it was great, and I learned a lot of things, but these people really need me. And how great.
Yes, it is. Like you said, now I think back to all the people that I've taught. They're great clients, but they can go to YouTube. But my community, I've embraced my community, and they need me, and it's amazing that I can teach something that seems so practical to me, but it's just mind-blowing for them. So I just want to just give and give and give, because I have so much in my brain that I don't know if I can give it all. I just don't think I have time to give it all.
Well, you developed something called descriptive cooking. So tell me about that. That's like incredible.
Yes, it's actually descriptive, but it's intuitive. So what I thought was, we have to be able to use our other sensories. And when you're looking at videos, when you're reading a recipe, it doesn't give us what we want, what we need to be successful. It doesn't tell us what things should feel like, what it should really taste like, or what it should sound like. So what I thought to do was to incorporate those other sensories when I'm teaching, because my target guest person that I want to teach is that person that has no vision. So I want to get to that person with no vision. So if I could teach that person with no vision how to bake a cake from beginning to end, or how to make a sauce from beginning to end, then everyone else is going to learn it. But in order for me to reach that person, then I have to be able to use my words. And I have to be able to use language that's going to mean something to them. So I can't say, cook this cake until it's golden brown. I have to be able to use words to describe that. And what is it going to smell like at a given point in the oven? So I always say that our food talks to us, which it does. And so that's what I mean by using intuitive cooking and learning. It's incorporating those other words that we're not using because we have vision. Take all that out, and I'll use your words. Like our parents teach us, use your words. And so I am using my words to get that person from point A to point B, to use their sensories, to use their hearing, their sense of smell, taste, and touch.
What you're doing is phenomenal. A little glimpse of something that I had happen. I was working with a gentleman. I used to be a computer instructor and worked with people that had very little or no vision, and this person had no vision. And I said, I need you to bold something. Well, he'd never seen bold. What does bold mean? He said, Kimberly, this is embarrassing, but what does bold mean? And I tried to come up with words. So I came up with words like, think of the letters as heavier, they're darker, they're, you know, thicker, they're this, and he could, you know, I had to keep working with him. And I said, I apologize that I don't have the right words to come up with. But he said, I don't normally want to ask people because I don't feel comfortable. And so looks like I could talk to you forever. I'm so excited to be here. So we're going to have, either you're going to cut the cake or someone's going to cut the cake because I'm eating this cake.
Okay, here, let me cut it. I have my purple.
Cool. And then I'm going to go back around too and switch to sharing the screen in a minute because we want to make sure we give your contact information because we didn't get into it. But Regina teaches these amazing Zoom cooking classes. She's doing some this summer. You'll want to reach out to her to get more information. She's doing some for kids in the kitchen. I'm so excited about that. I'm just now working with my granddaughters who are 3 and 5, and they just want, that's when they want to be out there. And then they get older and you want them to help, you know, and not so much, but you got to do it now. So this is great. I'll let you guys see the cake and drool. I'm Kimberly Klein, 702-468-6611. You can text me or email me or call me, and my email is kimberly.klein@lviamerica.com. You can also reach out to Regina to say, hey, this was great, or what do you have coming up? I want to take one of your classes. How do I do that? And her email is friendinthekitchen, FRIENDNIN, the THE kitchen, KITCHEN @gmail.com. And again, a lovely picture of her in her kitchen right here in the middle. And then at the bottom, we have Catherine Gettle. And thank you so much, Catherine. And I'm going to turn it over to her in just a second, but she's 802-236-4404, Catherine.Gettle @lviamerica.com.